actually treated that way? What do
You
you
know
think?
what? Well, I'm glad you said that because I learned the hard way that health is definitely wealth. I think 4 years ago, I was 420 pounds,
Wow.
stressed out, thinking that I had to sacrifice my health at the altar of success. But what I really was doing was slowly killing myself. And so it was really important for me to understand that my health came first. We should talk about that tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So what? Did you hit rock bottom? What made you say like, you know what, enough is enough?
You know, Rich, what happened to me was that I went to my 20th business school reunion, and I was there with classmates of mine who knew me from 20 years ago. We had also, along the way, lost classmates to suicide and to health events in the last 20 years. And one of my classmates, Mary, came up to me and said to me, I know you're stressed out. You look terrible. I'm worried you're not going to make it to the next reunion, which was 5 years later. And I
Wow.
went home and I saw my doctor and I left my job because I was in a really bad state. And I was having a mental, physical, and emotional crisis. And it was bad. And so it took me stepping back, focusing on my health, and really focusing on what mattered, and really trying to really gain that wealth when it comes to my health.
Yeah. Well, I always say that health is your number one asset. We often take that for granted, but especially like in the African American and the Latino American communities, it doesn't seem like us minority groups prioritize health that much. It seemed
Yeah,
like, it's like, whatever, I don't have enough time, or, I don't know where to start. Oh, yoga is for religious people. I'm not religious. And they have
yeah,
all these
yeah.
type of barriers and excuses. I mean, what is your take on that? Did you have some of those self limitations?
You know, not necessarily, but what I think was the big problem was is that I really didn't understand one fundamental thing is that, which is so important, that food is medicine, right? Like what you eat, right, is so important. I thought, like getting in shape was for a diet. I don't even remember a time when I wasn't on a diet, right? But then when I wasn't dieting or wasn't like starving myself, I would eat like I didn't think I had time to cook. I wouldn't cook. I would order out. I would order fast food. And one of the things I quickly learned, if you don't make it yourself, you don't know what's in it. And so much of our food has chemicals and a lot of added sugar and sodium. And for someone like me and my family, I come from, my dad had 7 brothers. There were 7 of them. And my mom, there were 10. All of them, except for 2, developed type 2 diabetes. A lot of them were on kidney diet. They had dialysis. They had blown out their kidneys. They had were amputated, had limbs amputated. So I knew that diabetes was in my genetic profile, that it was something that was waiting for me. And I tried so hard to ensure I never got it. I worked out a lot. I dieted, but I didn't really understand. It's not about a diet. It's about a lifestyle. And so it was when I had that awakening at my business school reunion that I decided to really dig deep into that and to get help, like from my healthcare providers, from my therapist, from a physical therapist. Really, like I was in such a bad state. And what that's one of the things that I want to help people not be like me, because we should never get to that point, especially because we're more genetically predisposed to these diseases because of our food and what we're eating and what our food system looks like in the United
Yeah.
States.
I
Yeah, and
remember reading one time something. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's out you're about lifestyle, and we've heard that many times. But I read something a few years ago, and basically that a mother, what she feeds, below the age of 7, will determine what their health profile will be when they're older. So one of the things you think of the education, in our I was
Right.
blessed because my parents, had an international influence. Even to this day,
Mm.
my parents, you go into their medicine cabinet and they've got herbs. For a while, they were on the raw food diet. Members cabinet and up underneath the sun. But to your point earlier, you said let your food be your right here. When we were preparing for this, I said that I give you guys big time kudos and say I'm probably the least health conscious, but we wanted to hear more about and your journey and how you made your transition. But you went to are you what were the professionals saying to you as you led up to realizing that hey I need to change? Like what they said like I'm go to the doctors.
Yeah, yeah. No, that I mean, I'm sorry, Kenyon. Did you?
yeah.
Your healthcare profession, what were they
Yeah.
saying
I think we have a
to you
little
as you
technical
led up
difficulty
to
with
say, hey,
Kenya,
wait a
but
minute,
he
I
was
need to
just
make this
basically
Yeah.
change.
asking, what
Yeah.
about your health professionals and what kind of pretty much incited what did they incite in you to keep the ball moving, or what perspective shift did they give you to help you change
Yeah.
your life?
Yeah. So I mean, so you make an excellent point about like there are health disparities. So I've worked in the biopharmaceutical and med tech industry basically my whole career, and so one of the things that I learned at a very young age in my professional career at a very young time in it, first starting out, was I remember moving to New York. I had eczema, and I had hyperpigmentation all over my body, and where I scratched, there were dark marks all over me, and it was horrible. And so I went to go see a dermatologist, and this was a dermatologist in Manhattan, and he was a white dermatologist, and he looked at my skin and he said, "Oh, I think it's syphilis." And
What?
so he took a piece of it and did a biopsy and he sent it off. And of course, it wasn't syphilis. And so that was the first moment when I realized that representation and having a doctor that understands your background and diseases that are associated with your ethnicity is so important. I found a doctor at that time, back, I'm dating myself, back in the 90s, Dr. Rosemary Ingleton. I will never forget her. She's an amazing dermatologist, still practicing in New York. I went to go see her. She looked at me and she goes, "That's hyperpigmentation. It is caused by eczema. You are going to be all right. I'm going to work with you and we've got it under control." And she was amazing. And so, Kenya, to your point, it's so important for you to have physicians and doctors and caregivers that understand us, our the prevalence of diseases that or things that we are predisposed to be able to talk to them, to be able to really understand your treatment options, and really speak to you as a human and understand the issues. I will never forget that syphilis thing because that was just I was young, I was in the city, and I was scared, and so I really
Yeah.
learned to make sure that I had healthcare providers that would listen to me and understand me. And that's what I carried that with me. And I had that here in California when I moved here. And so the healthcare provider that I was seeing when I when I came back from my reunion and I just broke down. It was just really, it was just such, I wasn't sleeping. My back, because we had just come out of the pandemic, my back was seizing up. So I could hardly sleep at night. It was just a nightmare. It was. And to have someone who really listens to you and put a team together to support you, to try and help you and pull you through is so important. But once again, for me, it's so important for us as for people of color that we don't get to that point, right? We don't get to that because we're predisposed to a lot of things that other populations aren't. And so it's so important for us to really take care of ourselves, because the only thing that we're guaranteed is this moment right now. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. You can't take care of it tomorrow. You got to take care of today, because that's the only thing that's guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been in the health and wellness profession for almost 20 years now. And especially I see it a lot amongst minorities. And also it's not only minorities, people of lower socioeconomic backgrounds, they don't value exercising as much. And they almost see it as a curse to exercise. Like, oh my gosh, oh, I don't want to work out. Oh, that's so bad. It's like, you know, and it's, you know, I'm never trying to shame anyone, because it's not about shaming anyone. It's about getting people on board. But it's I think it's a mental switch that need to be turned on. It's like, you know, it's enjoyable to work out. I mean, I feel amazing when I work out. I feel irregular if I don't do something physical in the day. You know, whether it be a hike, whether I lift weights, do yoga, play some tennis, whatever. I mean that's just my lifestyle. But I think I think now maybe with social media, the younger generation is starting to see that, the younger minority generation see that it is important to work out. But like our generation, 80s, 90s, you know, like, and our parents' generation, that was like almost like, what? Work out? What are you talking about? Exercise? What? What are you talking about?
No, it's so important to move, right? Like, you know, exercise has been a big part of my story. That's what helped me fend off getting diabetes when I was younger, because I always lifted weights and worked out, and it was a big part of the culture in New York when I moved there, and so it was a big part of what I was doing. But I think one of the things that I learned over the course of my lifetime, and why I think a lot of people like really struggle with working out, is because, you know, my whole premise is that if 30 minutes is great, then an hour is better, right? Like, I'm just gonna push it. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna lift harder. I was doing 2-a-days. And at a certain point, the weight didn't come off, and my metabolism changed, and that was because there was something going on. And that was the insulin resistance that I was dealing with. And I think a lot of people get frustrated with working out because it worked when they were younger and it worked at a certain point and then it stopped. But to me, it all goes back to understanding what we put in our body and how our body can or can't metabolize it and use it as fuel, and what that does to all our efforts, to working out, to yoga, to whatever it is, right? To lifting weights. Like, it's not going to necessarily work if you're not, there's so many elements to it, right? I mean, and then also if you're working out and you do it for a couple of weeks and like nothing happens, but you're still not sleeping, or you still haven't changed your diet, you know what I mean? There's all these different levers and things that you have to really, it's not simple. It's not a 1 + 1 is 2, right? And so I think that's where people get really frustrated, and I can understand that, because it seems like it's not working, right?
Yeah, because like you said, like you hinted towards, it's a synergistic thing. So 1 + 1 does not equal 2. It's like you got to have it all. You kind of really have to have it all dialed in. That's the diet, the nutrition, and when it comes to nutrition, you got to eat right for your body type, because everybody's a little bit different, you know.
That's right.
And it's like one diet is not for everyone. So
that's right.
You know, like,
no, it's so true. No, go ahead. I'm sorry. What were you going to
No,
say
I'm
about
saying
that?
like even like this book where you have to eat right for your blood type, and a lot of African Americans have different blood
Yeah.
types than other minorities, and even the Caucasians or European Americans or people from
Yep.
European descent. So it's important that we eat. Like for me, I noticed that eating good lean protein and fruits and vegetables is important for me. And like I can't do all the carbohydrates and all that stuff, and maybe other people can do the carbohydrates a little bit better, but for me, the fruits and vegetables and protein.
You
Yeah.
know, you know, I'm a carnivore, like
Okay.
protein, love protein, like that is my thing.
Yeah.
And I try to eat enough of it. I also have in my diet, I eat a lot of grass-fed ground beef, which is really very, very good for you. And so I eat that. But one of the things, going back to food and carbs and things like that, and carbohydrates, one of the things that through research that I found, like our food supply has changed so much
So much.
dramatically in our lifetime,
Yep.
right? One of the things that like that I love, like, so my talk about my family. It's my family. My parents were born in Detroit, where I'm from, but my grandparents were all born in the South. So our diet was all like Southern inspired or foods. My grandmother taught me to eat greens with my hand, right, as a kid. And so one of the things that I love that we used to have for breakfast on the weekends are grits. And
Oh yeah.
so, you think grits, carbs, like bad for you, but the grits that we ate as a kid, that I ate as a kid, are quite different from the grits that are available today
Yep.
because they degerm them and they take
Eat
out the
German.
fiber, they take out the nutrients, they
Yep.
infuse niacin and chemicals that your body can't use. Why?
Yep.
To make the product shelf stable so it can sit
That's
on the
crazy.
shelf for as long as possible. And what have they done? They've taken out the nutrients, the thing that slows down the spiking of your blood sugar. And so
Exactly.
and I'm gonna Bob's grit, like they make a lot of different grains, and they have grits. And the only ingredient that should be in your grits is corn. That's it.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
And
And
so
you
yeah. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go
I
ahead.
mean, you hit, no, you hit it right on the nail. It's like, and it's kind of even limiting what I said. It's like carbs, fruits and vegetables and meat. And it's deeper than that. It's the quality of carbs you eat, the
Yes.
quality of fruits
Yes.
and vegetables, and the quality of meat you
Yes.
have. Because like you said, like in Italy, people are living in Sardinia living to 100 years old because they don't eat enriched pasta. We eat
Yes.
enriched pasta here. It's full of
Yes.
chemicals, and it's the germ, and it doesn't have the yeast
Yep.
that's good for probiotics. Is devoid is void of any nutrients, and it's full of just toxins. To be honest,
It is. I mean,
yeah,
it
but
is. And the thing that really upsets me about all of this is that um like people have to make economic choices every day.
yes,
All right. So when they go into a grocery store, it's like I have a fixed amount of money, right, for groceries. And so I have to decide what I'm going to get. And side by side, there are like the grits I just Bob's next to Quaker, right? And Quaker is going to be a fraction of the cost of the Bob's. But guess which one is not going to spike your blood sugar and doesn't have chemicals in? The one that costs more. And
yes,
so it's so important to be able to really to look at the labels, understand what's in it. Like for me, when I make pasta, it's only Italian made pasta because of everything you just said. And also the cast that they use to make the pasta puts ridges in it. So it's even more difficult to digest. And it's all made with semolina whole with grain, right? That's really so your body. And I've heard stories of people who have gluten allergies can go to Europe and eat pasta like
yeah.
no problem, but can't eat it in the United States. And that's because of everything you just said.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, our food supply is really bad in America. I mean, if you even you comparing us to Europe, you know, take a look at a lot of stuff that's on our shelves, that's in boxes, and that's another topic. I'm not a fan of food in boxes, but just taking a look at the food in boxes, we have like 15 ingredients compared to like 3 ingredients of the same exact product. Say if it's Kellogg's
Yes.
cornflakes,
Yep.
we have 15 to 16 different ingredients in Kellogg's cornflakes, whereas in Paris, they maybe have 3 or 4 ingredients of Kellogg's, and then you know, so
Yeah.
and so it's our prepackaged stuff is horrible in America,
It is.
really
It's
horrible.
bad.
Yeah,
But we want
yeah.
convenience. Like we're like,
So we want convenience, yes.
one of the things for that I used to think, like I enjoy cooking. I love it,
Yeah.
right? But I never thought I had time for cooking,
Yes.
right? But what I soon realized, what you don't have time for is a bad diet and not knowing what's in what you're eating. You don't
Exactly.
have time for that. You end up 420 pounds like I was,
Yeah.
really miserable and not knowing why, right? And so, it wasn't like I was sitting at home eating bonbons all day. I was eating what Americans eat, and it was just not good. And so, you know, that one of the things that I realized when I left my job and I focused on my health is I began to cook. I began to research food and cook and make things, and I tried to reclaim my heritage and remake things. Like one of the things that I make all the time with my Instant Pot is collard greens.
I
I
love
love
Instapot.
collard. I love right? The Instant Pot is like that is everything to me because it's so you're able to make so much so quickly and it's delicious. And so, you know, I cook all the time, so much so that as you know, I have a cookbook out.
Yeah.
Cooking heavyweight style. Reclaim your life and reclaim your health. It's on Amazon if you want to check it out. But honestly, like it's you know, I have things in there like a grits recipe, but I also have um, cauliflower grits, right? So you can do it without using the grain if you're literally watching your carbs and do it with cauliflower and just blend that up. And I love that recipe, and it tastes so good because you put a cheese in there, really natural cheese and butter and things that people are like, oh no, yes, like these are good things when made like with grass-fed cows and really very good ingredients that your body just takes to. What has happened is that we've really like kind of bastardized all these things with the chemicals and like oils and things that we put in them and they're not anything like they were when they came out of the ground.
Nothing like it, and that's why obesity has grown a lot over the years. Because like back in the days, you were eating your grandma's stew. Now we're just eating Kraft's macaroni and Stouffer stovetop, and that stuff is like that's not even real. There's no nutritional value in that stuff.
None.
So there's no nutrients in there, and it's full of toxins and preservatives. So that's a lose on both angles. But I want to say this. So that we talk about the food, like for inner city and stuff like that. But when you go to places like in Detroit, and especially in the Midwest, there's not grocery stores near a lot of residents there. What do you think what are some solutions for this? For this dilemma?
I think I think that's a big problem, right? It really is. And I think one of the things that's really important is to do some research and try to find organizations. Like one of the things that I loved when I was living in New York that we had in my neighborhood was a farm share, right? Now, and these things are not necessarily cheap, but there are organizations that sponsor things where they have pantries where you can get fresh produce and fresh produce, vegetables, and things that are in season that can be available to you. So you have to do your research and try and look and find them because it's not easy, and they do exist. Like, well, growing up in Detroit, Detroit is going through this renaissance now. We like we had very few grocery stores, right? Very few like stores in general, right? That were there. They were all fleeing and leaving the city, and the ones that did, they're like they have the problems that most grocery stores have, where they like it's all ultra processed foods that aren't good.
Yep.
So really looking for alternative community organizations that really have food pantries and places where you can go and get fresh produce and vegetables that are really, really great and quick to eat. And the other thing that I say is that if you don't have that as an option, one of the best things is if there is a grocery store available is frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables.
fruit.
Now, I'm not talking about like with sauces and things, but I'm talking about broccoli and
Yeah.
spinach that are frozen. What happens? They pick those vegetables, they cook them, and they freeze them, and they're full of their nutrients. And they are, you can zap them in the microwave, put them in there, put some olive oil on
like
it,
this.
some fresh garlic, and really, I use my freezer so much. I have it full of frozen vegetables because when you get home from work and you're tired, the last thing you want to do is have a long time to cook something. So it's so great to use that as an option in a pinch.
Yeah, that's such so that kind of leads to you're a meal prepper. I would assume, right? You prep your meals.
Yes, I do.
So that is something we need to kind of convey to a lot of people who do not. If you prep your meals, you can make meals for yourself in an economical way, in a time efficient way.
Yeah.
But you're trying to make one meal every time. That's going to take you an hour and a half each time, and nobody has that type of time in the world. But if you prep meals for the whole week, then it only takes you like 5 or 10 minutes to heat it up.
It's so true, and that's one of the things that that I have in a section in my cookbook about meal prep, right? About so one of my favorite things to do that I do probably once a week is that I go to the store, I get about a 2-pound side of salmon, right? And I put it on a sheet pan, I put olive oil down, season it on both sides. I cook it, I broil it for 10 to 14 minutes with the skin up, crispy side. And then I have that salmon, I can cut it up into pieces, and then I wrap it up, and I have that for 2 to 3 days, right? Like I can do lunch and dinner. And so I have that salmon. I also love that with one of my favorite things is to do buttermilk. Everyone knows buttermilk fried chicken, and I love fried chicken. But what I love to do is take a whole chicken and put it in a bag and put a pint of buttermilk in it, and I leave it in the refrigerator for like a day or two. I flip it so that the buttermilk softens it on both sides, and then I bake that baby in the oven. The skin comes out so brown and it's juicy and delicious. And I have that chicken and cut it up, and I can eat that during the week for my meal prep. It's things like that that are really economical. A whole chicken is cheaper than buying the parts, right? And it's delicious. And it takes like 30, 40 minutes to cook. You want to make sure it's done. It takes 30 to 40 minutes to cook, but once it's done, you got like 3-4 meals like there. It's great. I love it.
So and that's a good point. I think people just don't know how to live this type of lifestyle. Like you said from the beginning, it is a lifestyle of healthy with not only your movement but with also, and so a lot of people understand that it is so they I don't know. In my opinion, I think something it makes them feel overwhelmed. That they got to prepare their own meals.
Yeah.
You got 2 or 3 kids. you're probably working one and a half to survive. Like, so you're gonna feed kids McDonald's. So, but
Yeah.
if we give them a system, we show them that this same time for you to drive McDonald's, for you just make these, and then the tools that they need, like the Instapot and in the air fryer easily, and then and yeah. So
Yeah, no, I mean, no, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. No, I mean, you make a very, very good point about that, right? Like, you know, fast food is fast for a reason, right?
Yeah.
It's fast for a reason. One of the things that really changed, like, because I'm a carnivore, I love meat, right? Like, I love, like, talking chicken and like, I love it, right? Like, but one of the things that I never knew is just how sated protein makes you, right? You can, when you eat the appropriate amount of protein, you don't wake up starving. You don't
No.
not trying to snack in between meals, because
Exactly.
first of all, it takes a while for your body to digest that protein. And there's a point where the amount of energy that it takes to digest it is more than like it's work on the body. So it's like your body is like really working to get that digested, and so that has such added benefits for you. And so I think it's so, because of we live in this ultra processed food world where the majority of the food at our grocery store is ultra processed, that really just goes into your body, right into your bloodstream, and then you're hungry 15 minutes later. No. Up the protein, eat it, enjoy it, see how it changes how you feel and how your outlook is, and how, like, that whole snacking in between. Because one of the things that, and we can talk, I wanted to talk about this as well, is that we eat all the time. We eat all the time. We wake up eating, we eat, we snack in between. We never give our body a chance. And if we eat more than less than an hour before bed, we don't even give our chance to go to sleep, because our body is just so much noise going on in our digestive system that your body can't even rest, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just, you can't eat all the time.
Well, I think that's also going back to, like, I mean, even all of American culture. It's not a black or a white or a brown thing. It's
exactly.
like
Yes.
everything revolves around eating in America. Eating. We live to eat. We don't eat to survive, or we don't eat to live. You know what I'm saying? And eating is, like you said, it's a medicine. It's nourishment for our body, and we don't treat it that way. We treat it as something that we should just indulge in. And
yeah.
And
I wanted to talk a little bit, go back to the workout thing, right? Like, so one of the things we were talking about working out and all of that. And one of the things, like, I remember when, when I was at my lowest, I was down, and I was 420 pounds, and I couldn't work out. My back was really, really bad. And I knew I needed to work out because it's important. I feel better when I do it, but I felt stuck. I felt stuck in my job, stuck in my house, stuck in my body. And so I got up, I left my job, I was working on myself, and I wanted to work out, but I was in such bad shape. You know what I did? I did a lap around my dining room table.
yeah, wow.
That was it.
I saw you made an Instagram post about this.
Did.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah,
Yep. I walked around my dining room table,
Yeah.
and that one lap turned into two, turned into going for a walk outside, and ultimately turned into me going to the gym, right? Like, so you got to meet yourself where you are. and give
Atomic
yourself
Habits.
grace. Give
Yes.
yourself grace,
Give
right?
yourself
We are
grace. Yes.
human. We are
Yes.
human, and we all fall short, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's important to forgive yourself and meet yourself where you are. It's so important.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think a lot of people, a lot of times, especially with now with social media, that a lot of times people think like, oh, I'm not working out at all, but I see this guy, David Goggins, training hard like that. So I need to train hard like that. That's the only way I'm gonna get back in shape. But it's like those small atomic habits is what's gonna get you there. And if you ask any successful person, that's the way they talk. They talk just like you talk. It's like even when I think somebody was talking to Michael Jordan about how did he average over 30 points for so many seasons. He said, well, I look at it like this. I can score maybe 2 points within the first 2 minutes of each quarter. I go to the free throw a couple of times, and by the end of the quarter, I have 8 points. He broke it down to those small little steps that he needed to take to score average 30 points per game for over a course of 6 or 7 seasons. So, the successful people see it as small steps. The unsuccessful people see it as something too big, then they become overwhelmed.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. And that's the thing. Like, you know, they someone I've heard this, and I know people probably heard this before. How do you eat an elephant, right? Like, one bite at a time.
Yeah, one
And
bite at a
that's
time.
it.
Yeah.
That you're right. Like, one bite at a time. It's like this is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It is your life. And you've only guaranteed this moment, and you need to meet the moment and be the best you can right now and be grateful for the moment that you have, because there's so many of our ancestors and friends. And I think about my classmates from business school, all accomplished, professionals with family and loved ones who just had a mental or physical crisis and didn't survive it, right? And
Yeah.
so it is not like, life is a precious gift, and it's up to us to make the most of the moment we have, and not to squander it, because we are
Yeah.
here on the shoulders of our ancestors, right? So it's so important for us to really embrace that, and to really live with purpose and with gratitude for everything that people did to bring us to this moment.
That's amazing. And I know you talk a lot about purpose, like you saw talking about from going from overweight to being on purpose. What is your purpose? Tell me.
Wow. Oh. Well, like, honestly, I feel like my purpose, I want to help people not be what I was, right? Like, I want to help people understand that if I can do it, you can do it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that you have to, don't compare to yourself to anyone else. You are unique. You are unique, and your challenges are yours, but they are surmountable. You can deal with them, but just one step at a time. You're not gonna change a lifetime of challenges and genetics in one session, right? You've got to really focus and live with grace and gratitude. When I say live with gratitude, and this is what I think one of my purposes is to talk about this. When someone's grateful, they live with intention every day. And they don't just say, oh, I'm grateful, and then just sit there and wait for something to fall out of the sky. No, living with gratitude is moving with gratitude, moving with purpose,
I love it.
loving with purpose, like, just like really living in the moment and really focusing in the moment. I remember being in my bed and not sleeping at night when I was just stressed out and everything was wrong at work. And I was thinking about how I let my family down and that I was doing a horrible job at work, and like I forgot to do this and all that stuff. I wasn't living in the moment. I look back at some of those pictures during that time. Yes, I was 420 pounds, but I don't even remember being there because guess what? I wasn't living in the moment. I was always worried and thinking about something else. And so
Yeah.
my purpose, I feel to my in my heart is to help others understand it's going to be okay
I
and
like
you
it.
can do it.
I
You
love it.
can do it. Nothing. You are human. Give yourself grace and live in the moment and do the best you can right now. That's my purpose to help others like me understand that.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. That make me just realize how important it is to live in the moment, and I try my best at doing it, but sometimes I forget also. But give
It's
myself a little
hard. It's
grace.
hard. I haven't perfected it. I
Yeah.
have not. I am
No,
human.
no, and we're
Yeah.
all human, man.
Yeah.
But I appreciate having you on the show today. I think we might have lost Kenya, but it's all
I
good. We'll get him.
know. Well, Rich,
Hopefully,
can I come back? Can we visit
hopefully you
you?
can come back soon. We'll have
Okay.
you
I would love
back
that.
soon.
I would love
That'd
that.
be awesome. Okay. Okay. Take care, Anthony. Peace.
All righty. All right. Take care.